Hello and everyone, welcome to another Garry's Mod and Half-Life lore video. In this video, I will be explaining you how I believe Half-Life should have realistically played out. If Valve prioritized strict logistical and military realism over narrative tropes, right? So, as you probably know, the whole narrative of Half-Life revolves around one completely ordinary man named Gordon Freeman, who is nothing but a scientist, okay? And so the story claims that this one guy, called Gordon Freeman, or the One Free Man, as the Resistance and even Half-Life community likes to refer to him, the Free Man. It entails that this guy was somehow able to basically not only wipe like half of the United States Marine Corps. Now that is an overgeneralization. AGC was much smaller than the USMC, but basically an entire Marine formation, or divisions such as the AGCU, and even a super government such as the Combine on Earth, right? A Earth-wide super government such as the Combine. A super entity, basically, Now, as I said previously, Gordon Freeman, or the One Free Man, as people like to refer to him, should not have even survived the Black Mesa incident. Now, yes, he was in a physically much better shape than the ordinary scientist. We can agree on that. I mean, he was one of the not very few people who actually completed the hazard course, and also one of the not few people who were allowed to wear the HEV suit and whatever. But that doesn't change the fact that Gordon Freeman is just a 27-year-old, completely ordinary researcher, scientist. As I said before, he's not a soldier, he's not a super agent or like some secret agent, he's not a spy, he is a scientist. He's just that, an ordinary man, as Dr. Breen said. He's just an ordinary civilian man who never did any sort of survival training except the hazard course, no combat training, and yet you're telling me he was able to basically overthrow not only the Marines but the entire Universal Union on Earth? How much sense that does make? So the way I see it is that Gordon Freeman should have actually not only survived Black Mesa, right? Because he quite literally doesn't even wear his HEV helmet. In Half-Life 1, I'm pretty sure actually the player model in Half-Life 1 is literally a helmetless Gordon Freeman. Second of all, I honestly don't understand how indestructible the HEV suit is. HEV suit was not made for combat, it was made for research. You're telling me that a mere research utility, such as the HEV suit, was able to withstand thousands of bullets, grenades, dark plasma energy orbs launched at it? No, it would not. It would barely survive standard bullets fired from the HECU in Half-Life 1. It would have much worse chance surviving like the pulse ammunition used by the Combine. And that's just the start of it. You know what other kind of very strong weaponry the Combine has to its disposal, right? Well, even if Gordon Freeman, by some miraculously, survived the Black Mesa incident, Freeman's feats aren't actually even his feats in the franchise. They're actually G-Man. Events caused by foreign manipulation, the G-Man, the elusive one. Not even G-Man is completely omnipotent. Even G-Man can be captured, as in Half-Life Alyx. The Combine actually managed to capture him for some time in the vault. Without G-Man's interference, Gordon would have died, expired in Black Mesa. And if not immediately, then he would have been evaporated by the nuke set off to destroy the facility. But if he survived the 1998 events at Black Mesa and made it to approximately 2020 up to 2023, which is, I believe, when Half-Life 2 is taking place, around in the 2020s, so basically today's era is when Half-Life 2, I believe, is canonically taking place, right? Because he would be in stasis. Even if he was in stasis and released by G-Man, he would still not survive because the Combine would have realistically crushed not only him, but every single rebel, or almost every single rebel that would expose themselves to the Combine. But if G-Man would not interfere at all, and Gordon Freeman had to actually navigate the around 20 years of Combine's occupation up until the events of Half-Life 2, and that means that and he will be actively leading an uprising and fight against the Combine. That means that Gordon Freeman would once again be a completely ordinary civilian scientist with a fancy hazmat suit, fighting a pretty much immortal interdimensional empire like the Combine. The Combine essentially has unlimited resources, unlimited power. And even the complete frontline infantry, like the Overwatch soldiers, have unhuman capabilities. They can deal with resistance members with a flick of a wrist. Valve is really expecting us, Combine loyalists and people who actually will try or attempt to see the franchise realistically and not just through emotional or narrative lens. They really believe us. They really think we will believe that. No, at least I won't, because I look at the franchise realistically, and that will make you realize just how powerful the Combine is, and there's absolutely no way for them to have their entire infrastructure on Earth, just on Earth, dismantled by what? A scientist and a bunch of homeless people with guns? I mean, is that really what it is? I don't think so. Well, as I said, if you exclude G-Man from the equation and add a little bit of realism, that is, if you understand how real-life military logistics work, and completely strip away all of the narrative baggage, you're left with just one fact. Gordon Freeman would not have survived the Combine. He would have probably not even survived the HECU in the first place. also would not have Alex Vance. Alex Vance is even much more vulnerable than Gordon Freeman to begin with, because Gordon Freeman has at least some armor, even a pretty inefficient one, but he still has at least some. Meanwhile, Alex has literally nothing but just a jacket and a shirt or a hoodie, whatever. And well, Rebels would not have really survived either, because Rebels are mostly civilians with zero military background, unless we're talking about the conscripts, which were an actual military, but that's beta content, therefore it is not canon in the retail universe of Half-Life 2, which we are talking about right now. So the way I see it, Gordon Freeman is a nobody. G-Man is not that powerful either. As you can see, G-Man can be actually quite easily captured by the Combine. The Resistance, I wasn't really worried about the Resistance that much. I mean, you can really tell that for the most part, Resistance was hiding in camps, in forests, pretty much everywhere but the cities, because they knew if they were in the cities, they would be pretty much liquidated immediately by the Combine. Right, so yeah. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about. No. As well. And I really hope that more people will try to see the other side of the Half-Life franchise, like me. And like, not many people that actually try to see it this way. You know. Damn, that's a long drop. Anyways. I made the Dr. Breen, like, Breencast analysis in one of my last videos. There I discussed stuff that Dr. Breen said, and Dr. Breen also, I forgot to mention, there is one thing I forgot to mention, is that Dr. Breen was very right about one thing. That Gordon Freeman ultimately represents absolute, or not only Gordon Freeman, but the Resistance represent absolute decay and the worst parts of any species, which is superstition, irrational, instinctive behavior, you know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So no, Gordon Freeman is not a hero, and it is quite alarming with how much almost romanticization and grandiosity people refer to him, the one free man. The one free man. But he's not a free man. He's anything but. G-Man, if you really are a conservative defender or sympathizer, and you still refer to him as a free man, you're pretty much a hypocrite at this point, because he's not a free man. G-Man had him under his thumb for both of the games. Clearly G-Man expressed interest in him during the events of Half-Life 1. Right. It does seem like G-Man was manipulating the environment in his favor in Half-Life 1. He then put him into stasis and manipulated the events even more during Half-Life 2, when the Combine already established their infrastructure on Earth. How exactly is Gordon Freeman the one free man? He's not a free man. He's a cheap, disposable tool for a dangerous entity. The elusive one. The elusive one. That's right, the elusive one. G-Man. And even G-Man, as I said, can be captured. So just do not fall for brainwashing, right? Or brainwashing. Do not believe their lies, is what I wanted to say. Do not believe the Resistance's lies. There is no such thing as the one free man. There's no savior, and don't believe their lies. It just spreads disorder, and it once again proves how extremely messy and disorganized people are. Humans. Humans, they're fucked up, you know? Well, anyways, that's pretty much what I wanted to say, and thanks for watching. Right? It really is just kind of another clarification, you know. More clarification, I meant more like a addition for the previous video I made, you know. The previous video I made, like I don't know, 2 weeks ago, yes, does that. Well, and as always, thanks for watching, and glory to the Universal Union. Thanks for watching.